When we come into higher levels, traveling through dimensions or anything through clocking, we go through microchrones. A microchrone is understanding everything through activation centers. Everything through traveling is a center position. But understand your microchips, your microvalves, everything through your microcells. You get into the alpha, you get into the micro, you get into the macro. We're trying to understand everything through the micro, right? And that's the problem with humanity, is trying to understand the balance to everything through wires. And it connects in all ways and forms. I'll set up illustrations to show you what it is. But it's the practical levels you have to understand through your body activation system, because it opens up all traveling location positions. It goes through so many levels of wires. So think of yourself as a body through this connection, okay, through intelligence of space. So it's kind of like you're setting up signals to all location positions, okay? Truly understanding everything through calculation. I've sent you guys backphrasing videos of me when I was going through extremely high rise through Vega, and I was communicating through galactic sounds, extremely real, okay? And it's amazing how you connect through the micro valves, the microchips, the microcells. It's all connected to the microchrome. The microchrome is everything through planet position. It communicates on so many levels to the computer operation centers of planet positions, okay? So it's understanding when you go to higher levels, you travel through force recognition, through wire connections. And it's all about understanding your telepathy systems, your telegraphing system, your telephone information system. It's kind of like talking on the phone with somebody. It's knowing how powerful it is, where a phone actually has a microchip inside. And basically it travels to all positions. Okay, it goes this way, goes this way. You know, it's all about line connect. And it connects to everything to location, to its position. So when we come into the microchip levels, you have to send everything through your connections of your valves, everything through all connections of your lights, your colorations. Basically, it's kind of like a full operation, how to center yourself, how to set up a photon, how to set up a proton, how to set up an electron, all communications centered through the microchrome. Now, before you travel, you have to understand the operation centers, okay? What I mean by is trying to understand, how do I understand the generators? How do I understand the machine? How do I understand the operation of the machine? How do I put it together? How do I travel to this position? And how do I operate this position? So it's kind of like traveling through connections, how to basically start an engine. So you have to have all these compartments, components, and all these little valves and anything through wire location positions. So think of your body activation, nothing but a wire signal. And that wire signal is all connected to the biochemical system of you through photons, protons, neutrons, electrons, nucleus. You got the calculation nucleus. The calculus nucleus is understanding everything through metric and everything through meter, everything through basically you start off with the silicones and you work with the crystalline, and you work with your antimantium, and then you work with your antimantle, and then you come to full fruition of light. All right. So what I want to do today with my force team and anybody going through Tractions, seeing my video for the very first time, thank you very much for the subscribers and viewers. As we keep going, you know, that's the whole point of this, is trying to get more into connections of ourselves. And the only way to do that is to understand more connections of our travels to positions of everything for that connection. Okay. So it's truly understanding more of yourself when you're going through the micro levels or microchip of its cells, of its regenerations, to its generations, circulation, rotations, understanding what wire does when it travels. Okay, it knows exactly what it's doing. So you are the center point of everything. Okay, so imagine that your microchip is in the center position and you're traveling to one location position. So you have to understand everything through point center is a different dimension. So you go through the wire signals, it's like, right? So you stop there, right? So you have to understand what wire you're dealing with when it comes into the microchips or microcells or anything like the microbiome to its radiation cycles, to anything through its heat signature patterns, or anything through its spine rotation system, anything through the allocated position. Okay, it's the fragmentation lines through its factoring, through its manufacturing. So it's kind of like correcting and recorrecting everything through your thought. Your thought travels through wire because your thoughts are nothing but vibration. Okay. So truly understanding that, you know, when you say a word, you turn the word into, it comes into a sentence, and then a sentence comes into a story, and the story comes into activation, and then you send it out. Okay. So my activation cycles are on low frequency levels right now. So I got to uprise everything through connection system, put everything back into formation through wire signals, through calculation. So how did I get to that point? How did I get to that point? So before I get started, please let me know if you want to be healed through formation. Open up your 12 recognition lights, everything, the activation, put you into your connections of decentralized to essentialized to its awakening. It's powerful. Come into light fruitions. It opens up your clarity visions. You see everything through brights, skies, bright lights, activation lights, color of lights. Everything changes around you through your body frame and system. Your dietary systems change. Your eye receptor locations change. Your body frame and system change. Everything through formation of your body changes instantly. Okay, so it's going through a transformation path. Okay, into metamorphosing. To understand your body conceptual system is nothing but a traveling device of a wire connection to its microchips, to its microbiome, and everything through its microcells. Okay, so we're coming into powerful times. Like I said, it's really truly understanding more of yourself. Last night I was traveling through the moon surface, and I was actually going into the center position, actually into the center of the moon, and it's all snowy, and it's like, and it, so when you go through it, you actually see everything through its connection. Okay, so it's amazing how you look at yourself and you go beyond. You have to go beyond to travel, and the only way to do that is to understand everything through its wire, because that's all you're doing is traveling through wire. Wire is connecting to vibration. So if you center your positions, right, to calculation, it opens up everything through cycle of its connections, guys. It's amazing how we come into these divisions of practical levels. It's proacting cycle to that connection system. All right. So what I want to do today is I want to put everybody into a light fragmentation system to allocated positions to a microchip valve to its location, center its core to its microchip levels, okay, to its center position. Okay, so you're going to be traveling through light. So what that means is basically the synchronizing system to its atom rotation system. Understand everything through its operation of its light. What do you actually see in a light? What is a light? It's a reflection, it's a coloration, but it's all connected through space and time, through diameters and anything through that connection. Okay, so you understand your spacecraft positions of your pyramids or anything in that connection system, right? All right, so this is the basic microchip level. Okay, we go through these. Starts off like this, right? So you understand line communication when it travels through point division. Okay, these are the center operation systems. Okay, that's what you see through a microchip, right? So this is the connection, right, of the phone. All right. So truly understanding everything through its operation system. So it's got two barrels like this, the connection. Everything line communicates through conversation systems. Everything through communication has its division to its positions. Okay, so it's truly understanding everything through all levels of its connection. All right. It line channels, line signals everything. So it kind of looks like a graph. Okay. It's electrical board. So it's truly understanding how everything connects. It has to connect, right? Because it's traveling. So when you're picking up your phone and you're traveling to, you know, wherever you want to go to communication, you have to understand everything through its information system. Like when it travels, okay, you're in the center position. So you make that call to that person, right? So when it travels through its wires, okay, to wherever you want to go. So it's all about operation system, how it travels to its position. Okay, but everything is operated through the central system. Everything has to line connect to its division of its dimension. So it's all about the wires traveling to its position of an IPA, you know, the mapping location, the aerial direction to space anomaly, right, that connection system. So understand line communication. It comes into formation and it travels to all connection systems. Okay, it's incredible how we do these things. It's all about travel. That's all it is. Okay. So understanding everything through the microchip and everything through its connection, everything has to be line signal to its location position. Okay, it's got to operate in all location positions, right? So it's all about the center position and everything that's inside. So just imagine what it's like. I remember I took my team through connections. Okay, actually understand what's inside, the actual circuit board. Okay, the platform. Okay, so it's all about understanding the microchip of its algorithm program. Okay, the microvalves or anything, the microchip system. So it allocates so many position levels. It's really fascinating when you see these things. So when you're traveling to positions, right, you understand your phone connection system to your psychometry location position and where you're going through the clocking of its division to its dimension. Okay, it's all about traveling to your positions or where you want to go. Okay, so if you want to call Ireland or if you want to call Florida or anything like that, right, it's all about travel. Okay, so understanding your travel, you understand your dimensions of travel, then you understand your space of travel, and then you understand your time codes of travel. Okay, because it's all about recognizing. The phone recognizes right away what's going on. So it's dialing, right? It goes, right? And then when it answers, you don't know it's doing that. All you know is that you're trying to get connection from one phone to the next. So you have to understand what wires do. Okay, you have to understand what lights do with activation. You have to understand what colors do. Okay, so when you're in this position, it travels to all recognition systems to that connection. Okay, so you get 3 wire locations. So you get a black through that connection. Okay. Let's say you get a yellow. Okay. And let's say you get a red. Okay. So this is a wire. Everybody's very familiar with it, right? And it has basically at the end, it has the plug-in, right? So truly understanding what the wires are through connection, but the only way you can understand that is actually see it up close, to see what it is, to actually see what a wire looks like inside the circuitry. And it's all connected through traveling of time. So understand your positions, your body framing location. You're nothing but a wire signal. It's all about teleportation, energy of transference. Okay, that's what I was trying to understand. What does this wire mean? Why are there so many optical levels of wires? Okay, what does the red mean? What does the yellow? What does the black mean? So you truly have to understand everything through its connection, through friendship, relation, partnership. You get relationship with yourself first, and then you get relationship inside yourself. Okay, so you have to know the inner and the outer knowings of you through traveling, through its position. Okay, it's really interesting when we come into these levels, guys. So we start off with this, right? The traveling recognition system. Allocate those positions, electrifies everything through connection. Right? So basically, let's say you got one phone here. Okay, and you got another phone here. So it's one phone connect to another phone. Okay, so this phone is traveling to this phone here. Okay. So when it travels, it automatically sends up its a sounding tone, and that sounding tone is like. So it's trying to find out which wire you're connecting with, right? Which country you're connecting with, which travel, which time, what frequency. Everything is wire connected through weather. Okay, weather in the phone, which means that it has an air pocket. An air pocket is basically trying to understand the microchips and everything through its valves. Okay, so basically when it travels, it has compartments of coolants. So when you're traveling, the vibration doesn't explode. You know, I mean, it stays in its coolant system. That's what your body framing system. When you're traveling to higher positions of planets that are hot, you have to understand how to use your coolants through your ecosystem, right? It's really interesting. So you get on the microchromes, okay, the ecosystem. Okay, that's the body framing of you. Body frame in the digital frame. Remember how we're getting into those levels? Body frame, okay? So the ecosystem is the most important thing because it centers positions of travel to locations. So you got one telephone to another telephone, cell phone, one to another, right? So it's operating through its signals. So it's all about communication. I'm not talking about, you know, as soon as you pick it up, you're talking to this person. I'm talking about one phone connecting to another phone. That's the relationship with its wires through its location. So when you see it up close and you see it travel, it's pretty amazing. Okay. It goes through its own dimension. It goes through its own realm, but it's connected to the microchip, to its circuitry board. Okay. So that's how it flies the recognition system. So we get the arrow point locations like this, the connection. So it's like this. Okay. So when it connects to that level, it's lock and key location. So it activates the phone to its other system, right? Okay. So when it does that, it automatically activates this phone. It just wants to make sure it's getting connection from one phone to the next, right? So now you're getting communication, right? So everything through wire division is a different coloration system. The reason why it's different colors is because it's different atmosphere location positions of its telephone. Because the telephone has different synchronizing tones. It has vibration tones, it has energy tones, activation tones, it has teleportation tones, it has collaboration tones, it has all communication and vibration tones. All right. So understanding the coloration pattern of the wire locations, they're in set positions of different travel to its position, to its phone position. So it's all about bouncing one phone to the next of communication, right? And it's all connected to your ego system through its body frame. All right. So it's interesting when we come into these levels. So as it comes into that connection, right? Once you understand your communication of your ego system goes on so many waving length patterns. Okay, so when it goes to waving patterns, the ego system, okay, comes into calculation, modification through its body frame. Okay, so it's all about synergizing your light system, activating your communication centers. Your body frame is into a different coloration pattern. Okay, so it's like one signal trying to understand the other signal of communication. This is way before you pick up the phone to talk to somebody. I'm just talking about understanding how one wire connects to another wire of a phone. And it's all about like a fax machine. You put a paper in and it travels from one position to the next, right? And it's all about understanding everything through communication, guys, through wires. It's all connection about travel, because that's all wire does is travel, right? That's all it does, is it travels. So you have to understand everything through the vibration, okay? You have to understand everything through rotation, because it travels. And that's what it does. It travels. So when it's traveling to the signal of its phone. Okay. So basically it sends back the information. Okay. Somebody answers the call. Hey, how's it going? Long time no see. Now it's connected. Right. So that's how you connect one phone to the next. But the center position is you through connection. So your body framing system is opening up everything through the ego system, and it's connecting to the body framing through the digital pad location to its circuitry board system. The microchip levels change everything through the wire location positions to the colorations that you're traveling with through its position. And that's how you get communications through its vibration to its circuit rotation centers into its connection, all connected to the ego systems of your body frames. Okay. It's really interesting. I just wanted to give that out because we were traveling on higher levels of connections of travels to its position where we're going into practical levels, high energy levels, activation levels, micro levels. Tina, how's it going? So basically, it's interesting when you see this, right, through calculation. You're going to have to watch this back, Tina, okay? It's all about talking from one phone to the next and how to get connected, okay? And then once the voicing grid gets connected, it travels back to its position. So you have to understand why a phone is so powerful. It's all about everything, because it's not just a phone, it's a computer. It has everything in here. Okay, it's applicable to anything too. So understand that your phone is a body. It's a body of information. It's a body of communication. It's a body of teleportation. It's a body of energy, frequency, vibration, energy, and anything connection of wires. It's all connected to the circuitry boards. So your body frame of your ecosystem is a circuitry board. And this is where we come into the embedding, okay, through its link and everything through the decentralized and centralized system. When you come into the practical levels of upgrades, downloads, okay, and everything through uplinking and downloading systems. You have to understand these things because it's all connected to your phone, okay? So you know how to dial, you know how to call, right? So it's all about understanding how to travel. If you can answer your phone and pick it up, the signal comes in, right? The signal automatically comes in. So one voice is trying to understand the other voice. So your voice travels. That's what it does. And then it travels back. So it goes extremely fast. Okay. We're talking about zero gravity through wire location. It has to travel back and forth. That's its position. Okay. And the time frame is its condition. Okay. And then understanding everything through dimension. Remember, I was saying if you go traveling to positions, if your body frame goes like 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, you change everything through the atmospheres. Well, you're changing positions to voice and grid patterns. Your voice and grid pattern changes through its electronics. So when I go up, when I go down, when I go medium, when I go high, so it changes, right? The vibration will change, the coloration will change. And this is where you come into the optical levels of different wires of black, yellow, and red. Okay, these are energy tones of wires that high rises atmospheres through its positions of traveling to its calculation of its microchip valves and anything through its microcells. Okay, so understanding that your whole body is an ecosystem. Calculates, modifies everything to the brainwave locations, right? So it's incredible when we come into this force, guys. All right, so what I want to do is I want to travel through a light. Okay, it's really interesting. So we're going to platitude division, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in right into the connection of a light. Right, so I'll set up the operations of the sun like this. This is the sun. Okay. Remember, I get confirmation before I do this, right? So that's why it's extremely powerful, because I set up the codes before it goes through connections. All right, so the information system is coming in through calculation. This is the sun or rotation system. Sun is coming in. Now, this is going through the force team connection system. Now you got a reflection. See, sun, anything connection can bound off any structure building, can bound off anywhere through connections. So when you get that, you get connections to everything through communication. The sun and everything through information, the moon is a teleportation through a telephone position. It communicates every single day, right? So the program setting of the moon sets up everything, okay, to its shape, all right? Now, the sun has its own reflection, which is radiation, everything through its gamma operation system. So it sends up the vibrational system, the coloration system, everything through teleportation. One teleporting to another teleporting. So you come into the moon, right, through calculation. That's the moon, right? There's the moon and there's the sun. So, you know, they automatically communicate with each other, right? They have to, okay, every single day. So when that communicates, it comes down through information, sends up its coloration system to proacting cycles. Okay, so when it comes in that position, okay, so, all right, so that's what it does, the calculation. So one sets up shadow, shading, okay, through communication. So, and everything through light comes in. So when the light comes in, let's say it's a structure of, let's say it's a car. Okay, let's say it's a car. So basically, let's go red. So red, I love red. Blue is my favorite color, but let's go red. Okay, so basically, here's the car. Okay. All right, so this is the car. All right. Okay, so it's like an SUV or a truck. Okay, so basically, now we got the sun and its relation. We got the moon and its program setting. All right, so it's setting up the shades. So basically, everything has shadow, shade. That's what comes into full calculation to its rotation system, right? Puts it in its position. Two modification systems here, guys. All right, coming into that level. I'm going to show you here. Through calculations. Incredible stuff when you see these things. Okay, so this is its connection. All right. It's understanding the shape anomaly through its connections. So it's always back forcing its connection system. Okay, so it shades in the back location, right? So you see its reflection. So it's the kind of like the shape location of the truck. And then the sun is its radiation when it comes to the coloration system. So it's one teleporting to another teleporting through the moon and everything through its connection to the sun. Okay, so it bounds off with information system, sets up light signals at traction positions, and it comes into a rainbow location, right? That's how we get rainbows through cloud interference. It's all connected to the agelics. Okay, so it goes. Okay, and then it connects and then into the center position of the truck interference. Okay, it comes into different coloration systems. That's how you're able to see. I send you guys a stream, a lining stream of sun rotation center, which was a rainbow. Okay, so you come into this through calculation, right? So basically, see the reflection of the division of the truck rotation, like this. Okay, it's really interesting. You see these things? And this is the information system that you see through calculation. So once it gets into this position, yeah, that's where you see reflections on the wall or anything through ceiling or anything through the ground formation system. So the activation system changes everything to coloration. Once it has its coloration, it comes into its own realm location, center its position, like this. Okay, so it all comes the same color. Remember, the sun can reflect to any color. That's why everything through color is not one color, it's everything through color. So that's how you change everything through connections. For the truck and everything through its interference system, okay, allocates its background position, comes into one coloration system to all connection systems, right? So it's truly understanding how you connect to the shade. You connect to the shade, you change the shade, it comes in its coloration through its moon of its program to its sun interference. This is how you get a rainbow division to location position. Okay, all through the truck, because the truck is the structure. So as it's coming through connections, so that's how light comes in, that's how programs are set in, that's how rainbow comes in. It's all coloration system. Okay, so it's interesting. The more you understand more of yourself, remember I was telling you about the reflections when you see everything through the back phase of your perceptions and everything through the integrating cycles, you see everything through the greens. The greens is the matrix and it's positioned to its location. So understanding your windshield boards, it is a graphing location to a map through its position. So when you reach higher levels and you see rainbow activations, then you understand why it's connected, how the sun is interacting with the moon and the moon is interacting with the sun. It's all about teleporting. Okay, it's like one phone to the next. That's how they communicate. But they do it through, that's how they do it, right? And then you set up the signals. Everything is connected to your body framing system through the ego system. It's connected to the grounds, the powers, the atmospheres. Okay, then you understand your triangle positions, your spacecraft positions, and everything through coloration system. So the sun rotates its blending surface through its connection as the moon connects to its program setting. All right, so the sun is setting up the radiation and the moon is setting up the program. Okay, that's where it comes into a rainbow location position. All right, so it's interesting. So basically, we're going to go into connections of a light. All right, just showing you how you set up a rainbow. Because a rainbow is a realm. It's a portal. It's an activation system. But you understand, every time you're walking, you're changing time of coloration. Okay, when you come into the sun or anything through the moon. Okay, so like I said, every single time I walk outside, I'm traveling instantly, so fast. My microchip cells, okay, are going through so many forming of circular rotation centers. It's changing everything through its position of its thought recognition lines and everything through its light activation of its system to its rotation centers, which changes everything through coloration system. So it's all about understanding what your body system is doing through motivation systems, guys, through its ego system. Okay, so that's the ego system. We got into that before. It's the ego system. Ego/system, all right? Now you have to understand everything through the microvalve location. Okay, so these are little this is what your body looks like. It's energy cells, it's microchip cells. It's everything through biochemical. Okay, so this is what your body is through activation. Starts off like that through calculation, right? Little molecules and all that structure right through the ego system. So understanding how to communicate with each one in each rotation system, because everyone has to understand these things, especially when it comes into humanity. Humanity has to really understand these things. It's all about understanding how you travel through your phone, from one phone to another, to a connection. And this is where you come into the formation, right? Through its ego system of its body frame, through its digital system, from one phone to the next of communication, right? So you guys are gonna have to watch it back, but it's very important you understand what the ego system is and what it's doing through traveling. So that there's little microchips Lights going. That's what it's doing every day, guys. So all that connects right to the heart recognition of its portal. Okay. Let's see here. Left side. All right. So this is the heart, right? That's the heart. See the red there? That's the heart. So the heart is basically growing, right? It has its connections. So as it's connecting, right, it goes right to the connection of the brain. All right. The brain is sending out signal patterns of location and positions, guys. So it's activating everything through its light, through its ego system. So the ego system is the base, the connections, all right? And we even got in your spacecraft position, but you have to understand what your heart is through calculation. It goes like this. Okay. So that's what kind of I look like whenever I go through different locations of atmosphere's position. This is what my body frame looks like. And then it circular rotates. And it goes down. Okay. And then I'll set up the whole body, but this is what your body looks like through rainbow location. Okay, that's you. That is you. So it's truly understand your wires of all coloration system because it's all connecting through energy tones. So when your vibration goes higher, it changes coloration through an atmosphere system of positions, guys. Okay, so it's all about understanding how to travel the ego system, how to connect through the biochemical system to the microchips or microvalves or anything through shapes and anomalies or anything through structures of numbers or anything of that connection system. So as soon as you get a planet position, okay, all right, let's get a planet position here. All right, now this is the planet position. You're asking me, why is it the same coloration, Commander? So you're asking yourself, well, because my thoughts are in that connection system, right? It's allocated to that position. So that's a planet. Okay, it's not the Earth, but it's a planet. So understanding creation of you is understanding thought recognition of you, which is angling everything through connection system. This is the shapes and anomalies through its connection of a planet position, right? It's all connected. So everything in the center position is communication, right? So it's understanding that once you see yourself in this position of a coloration system, you automatically will have a planet in the same coloration. And it will automatically communicate with you through traction position. Okay, it will connect with you because you're at the right atmosphere through its position, guys. Through its clocking, it's traveling to its location. So it's interesting how you come into these levels through the ego system, right? Ego system is everything through its connection. It body frames everything through the biochemical system and activates everything through circuitry board. Your circuitry board is the center position of you, of travel. So understand everything through the microchip levels of coloration. Right? Each coloration, okay, is its connection to a planet position. Okay, so I see rainbow perception through my peripheral. Yeah. Oh, Tina, how's it going, Priscilla? Yeah. So what I want to do, I just want to show you how your body frame changes over heat signature. So the more you understand that, because you guys are coming into 90 levels, okay, of chakra rotation centers. So you have to understand your weather. You have to what's happening through its reconnection, okay? So the reconnecting level and its connection system, it's allocating its position to understanding more calculation, right? So it's getting bounced with digital, getting bounced with computer, getting bounced with your phone or travel, okay? So you have your computer, okay, like this. This is your computer, right? Through connections. It's really interesting when you see these things. Okay, so that's your computer, all right? And here's your phone. So it's understanding how to communicate. And here's your digital pad. Okay, so basically, it's all about understanding how to communicate with everything. So if the computer system of you doesn't understand the body system of its ego system, so think of everything through a microchip valve location is its communication signals, sets up its operation centers. So basically, this activates right away and it wants to communicate with this through a line signal, right? So it automatically puts up its E-fields. It has to because you understand you don't want to overload your system if you don't understand your phone rotation to its dimension, right? So it has protection, right? So automatically puts it up. It's like communication. So if we want to interfere in its connection, it wants to send a sound energy waving pattern, sends its communication. This is understanding more of yourself through calculation, guys. Center's positions on all levels of travel through its dimension. Okay, so it sends up a radio signal to your phone. Okay, so this is your computer and this is your phone, right? Your phone is reacting. Okay, so it goes in and out of traction. Okay, because it's not sure what's going on with your computer. So if your computer is not operated, your phone is going to explode or it's going to overload through heat signature pattern through its position because it's not right at color, it's not at the right atmosphere, it's not at its right dimension, and it's not at its right portal. Okay, everything travels. It just doesn't have to be anything through human vessel, location, position, or mind system. Anything can travel through computer, a phone, or its digital pad location. So once it gets its position, okay, and is no longer in the plasma energy of force, it connects to its realm position, to its computer system, and activates its light signal and puts up its gamma operation center coloration system to its direction. Okay, so it sends back the information. Okay, so one to another. Now they have connections, right? Now they both send up line signals. Now they're communicating with each other through traction position, right? So I'll send up black information system. So it's one connection to the next, right? So one computer is balancing everything through connection system. So the allocated position of this computer system is at 15th dimension, and the phone dimension is at 8th dimension. Okay, so it's connecting one to another, connecting back and forth, right? So now they're in position, right? So they line signaled channels through their Secretary board level connection system. That's why I was able to change the digital pad. The digital pad wanted to change the coloration in the background from yesterday. I didn't do it. It did it on its own. So it's truly understanding how to understand your ego system when it comes to your micro levels or anything, the microchips or anything through your microcells or anything through your biochemical system like protons, neutrons, electrons. Everything has a forming system to a combination. So truly understand the coloration of a computer, truly understand the colorations of your phone, right? So if the computer and your phone is in balance, now you got to get balanced with your digital pad. So it's understanding to communicate with each dimensional, 15th dimensional, 8th dimensional, and the digital pad is in the 20th dimensional, okay? 20th. Now this is higher force connections, right? 20th dimensional, right? So how do I get communication with the 15th and the 8th? How do I do that? How do I modify that? How do I get connection? So you have to understand your framing system first through your ego system, right? So this is a 20th dimension. This is extremely high rise, digital pad. So this is in a different air, different atmosphere, different position, different coloration, different light, different activation, different portal, different code, okay? Different color. So it's all one color, right? But it's extremely powerful through wire connections, right? So it's got energy fields on energy fields, location, position. So if it wants to communicate with the 15th, 8th dimension, it still has to put its heat fields up. So this is all about understanding how a computer to another computer can communicate with each other, okay? So it's really understanding everything of the simulation path to its reckoning of its fifth dimensional system through its communication of its telepathy system. How you can activate anything through a program setting to its 15th dimension or 18th or its 8th dimension. So the 20th dimension puts its energy fields right up right away, right? It's protecting itself. It doesn't matter what dimension it is. It's all about understanding communication, friendship, relation, partnership. So it puts up its E fields, right? Okay, and it wants to communicate with the 15th dimension. 15th dimension reacts to it, right? Sends out energy waving patterns. Everything through energy waving patterns is connection to one computer, to the next computer, to a phone, or anything through optical levels, and anything through dimensions through portal. Now, it gets extremely complicated when you communicate these levels. All right, so basically, you got the computer 15th dimensional system and understands its levels of its connection, right? So basically, before they communicate through levels, it's got to send out energy field location positions of energy wire location positions. So it sends out grams and grams of volumes of energy waves, right? To its position. Lock the key through location here, position lines. All right, so it sends so it sends it out, right? So basically, if it understands its communication, understands atmosphere, understands its everything through activation, understands its portal, understands its code, its reference system will send back its information system to its plasma energy system, right? Through communication, right? So it's all about one circuit board connecting to another circuit board. So its true coloration comes in, sends back in the information system to its allocated positions, has electronic interference, right? Sends it back. Okay. Now, it has connection with 15th dimension and a 20th dimension. All right. Now, the 20th dimension has to get connected with the 8th dimension. And then once it's connected, it's a triangle. You understand? It's the same thing with population. When I go outside, I automatically connect right away with people, and I put them in a dimension of a triangle, right? So they're aligned through me, through my communication, because I want to understand them through vibration, guys. So I have to set up a triangle. That's alignment. That's how we're all connected, right? So we're all connected as a triangle or a diamond core through position. So it's truly understanding everything through space phenomena and everything through connections of time. All right. So once it has that connection, okay, the 8th dimension of its phone connects with the 20th dimension, right? Sends out its energy wave. So it's all about energy wave first, right? Send out its energy wave location. It's got its electronic interference. Sends it back. Okay, so now they're all communicating, right? So this is how I get connection through connections through my body frame, through my ego system, to protection of lights. So I got to protect myself through the 15th, 8th dimension, and the 20th dimension. Okay, so this is understanding how I'm using my computer, how I'm using my digital pad, how I'm using my phone into a triangle division to my blue optic level system through connection. That comes into formation system. So it comes in a triangle location position. All right, so this is me through calculation. Because everything's done through the mind system, guys. Okay, it starts off like that. Okay, so when I have that connection, I send out sonars to all position levels, and then I set up a triangle. There it is. Now I have connection with my computer, with my phone, and my digital pad. Okay? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting communication with digital pad, my computer, and my phone. All right? So it's all about understanding your psychometry levels. So when I pick this up, this is a different dimension. This is different dimension. I'm communicating through you, through my computer, which is a different communication through line signals. So it's really understanding how to use your energy waves of changings, okay, from 8th to 15th to 20 and get balance with your triangles. So when you set up the triangle, it's now in its division of dimension, and now you get communication of friendship, relation, and partnership with your body framing of your ego system to its communication, to its teleportation energy interference through its infusions. It comes into its fusion to its light interference. It comes in its communication through its audio signals, and it goes into teleportation through its connection of its triangle positions of traveling connections. Okay? So it's interesting how we come into this. Questions or comments? I know things are getting more complicated now, but if you understand your positions, it's all about putting yourself in the center position every single time. So it's knowing how to set up a pyramid, a triangle, okay? So it's all about understanding the alignment of people, because everybody's a different dimension, portal activation code, vibration, energy, frequencies, and wires are all connected to that. We're all connected to that, right? But you have to understand to get your position, how you use your perceptions, and how you set up a triangle to its computer, its phone, and its digital pad location. Okay. So, and the thing is too, is you can change the framing system. You can change the operation of vibration to your phone. You can put up to a higher division of dimension. All you got to do is use your psychometries and everything, your biochemical systems, understand the photons, protons, neutrons, electrons, anything that position level system. Okay. So when we come into those levels, we're going to go into the wire connection system. But it's amazing how we come into these levels, right? We start from this microchip levels of a phone to its connection. Everything travels through positions, guys. Everything travels through position, okay? So when we get into that, okay, we come into this, to the ecosystem, right? Body framing, one phone to another phone. That's what it's doing every single time. And then you understand the wire connections, right? Why it's red, why it's yellow, and why it's black. 3 different atmospheres of energies, okay? So it's understanding, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a while. I know, it's been a long time. So that's what it's doing back and forth, right? but you have to understand the wire signals through calculation, right? So it's amazing how we travel through positions, right, through our phone connections. So you have to understand your circuitry levels when it comes to your circuit board. And your circuit board has to understand everything through the allocated positions of traveling to its location. All right? So if you look at your phone and you take it apart, you actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, every phone has a center position. So it's an audio signal that's traveling from one location to another location to another position of its division, of its dimension, to its portal, to its code. All right, so the wire signals are codes. Okay, so here's a wire signal like this, and this is what it looks like inside. Okay, so we got lines like this, lines like this, lines like this, lines like this. Okay, so that's what it looks like inside a wire. Okay, it's incredible when you see it really up close. So this is one wire, guys. So it's all about traveling signals. Okay, same that with time zones. When you travel, you go from one position, you change your formation, you change your locations to your acting cycles, and you disintegrate through space anomaly. You can't travel in the physical system. It separates the body system of the mind, and then travel to another location, and then you regenerate, resurface, relocate, and readjust and reform into your electrical system, to your ego system, back into communication to its position through its base, right? So as we come into that, we come into the wire location. So it's all about reading information. So it's one computer communicating with another computer of dimension to its realm, to its position. So it's a wire signal. Okay, so this is what's in a wire signal. Okay, that's what's in a wire signal. So when it travels, remember it's a wire like this, very, very small. So when you understand everything up close through the EI vessel, you understand how to communicate. Okay, remember I was telling you about the syringe, point view, laser direction. You see everything up close, right? So this is what a wire looks like up close. So it's a voicing pattern, okay? How's it going? Not too bad. How are you, right? So it's all about communication from one, it's all about little particles that are separating, and it's all about forming, okay? So as it sends back its information system, it sends a new coloration system, because it's going, the wire has to travel through atmosphere, okay? It's traveling through just a tube. It's like, it's plastic, right? But if you look up really close, you can see the particle system traveling so fast through connections. And so it's going to coloration, and this is what it looks like. Okay. These are wire signals of location difference. Okay. So it's really understanding everything through its connection, right? And so that wire connection is connecting to everything through its frame. All right. So we go into a different coloration system. Going into some modification cycles. Change the coloration. So every time you communicate through a different voicing pattern, the wire signal changes its position of travel through its connection, but it's traveling back and forth through connection, guys. So that's what's inside a wire. Okay, it's kind of like understanding to see everything, you have to rewind it. Okay, like all the way back, and then you actually see what a wire looks like really, really close. This is a wire. This is a wire. So imagine what it looks like up really, really close. Okay, so that's what's inside a wire. It's all little particles that are separating. Okay, so it's all about communication. Yeah, it's like a road graph. So everything sets positions. So everything stays in the wire position. But if you get angry, what happens is the wire changes its fraction position. Okay, so let's say you get an argument with somebody, right? And you're on the phone. So the electrical system changes its position. Okay, it goes into its wire connection, and it's not connecting to its particle system. So that's how a phone overloads through connection of wire locations, right? So what are you talking about? I don't like what you're saying. This is disturbing. Okay, see what's happened? It's overlapped through connection, right? So you're changing the voicing pattern, you're changing the heat signature of the wire location to its position, right? And it's a different coloration, right? So it's disrupting everything through the particle system. So you got to go back into the framing system. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk like that, you know? So it changes its position, it goes back in its framing location to its wire location position. Okay. So it overlaps the wire location of communication through the audio signals of wire connection. It's amazing what you see through wires, guys. And then it goes back in the framing system of communication. Okay. This is the astrologics of your body frame. Remember I was telling you about that? You go into the red, you go into the yellow, you go into the green, you go into blue. It's all about getting back into the green. So when you get the central system to the wire location position, it sends all the coolants to your body frame of its digital pad. You don't want your digital pad or anything computer or anything through your phone overload. So if one phone is communicating with another phone, you got to make sure that you keep your signal channels in line communication with the particle system. But that's what a wire looks like, really, really close inside. Okay, I'm talking like really, really inside. So it's kind of like threads, right? So it's kind of like this. So you see it like this, right? 3 wires, 3 wire connections. And then you see it wrapped around through its position like this. Okay, that's what a wire looks like. It's wrapped around. So it's protecting the wires, right? Because everything in the wire in the center is nothing but particle. Right? So when you get connection to that, when you see anything through perception, it's really interesting stuff. So now you've seen everything through connections, right? So basically this is a coffee cup, okay? So you understand everything through its connection when it comes into levels of the connection of its grid. Okay, so that's the grid, okay? So understanding the grid, understanding this formation of its grid. And then you understand everything through the particle system. Once you see the particle system, the center, its position, and everything, you see the actual couple for what it is. It's all particles. It's all particles. That's all it is. Circle rotation of particles. It's all it is. Okay, that's what a cup looks like up close. Okay? That's what a cup looks like up close. Everything is a particle of crystalline, depending on what it is and where it's forming. But everything is modified and calculated through sun interference of its connection. Okay. And everything through the moon interference of its connection. Okay. So the moon has the program setting. The sun understands its interference, right? So it goes down in its position like this. It sets up its shade, its location, position, right? Like that. Okay. Now when you get into that position, the sun sets up its location position, okay, to its connection. So it's all about centering positions. Okay, this is what happens when you change anything through rainbow location. It changes its position into a rainbow activation system. Right? So the moon changes its coloration, the sun changes its coloration, goes into its diameter core positions. It's all about understanding triangle locations, right? And everything through its position changes its location. This comes into rainbow activation system. So when it comes into that, illuminates its light sky through its position. Okay, the ground formation system changes everything through location. Okay, so it's interesting when you come to these levels, and then everything through your body framing system goes to the digital frame, and then everything through your connection, you become everything through coloration. You come the same coloration as the sun, the moon, and everything through the object that you're looking at through calculation. All right. So your body framing system is like this. Okay. It's all connecting. It's all connecting. All right. So now you're connecting to the sun fully and completely. Right. So you have all the connections you need, right, to understand the perceptions. So when your commander looks at things, this is what I see. I see the particles. I see the rainbows. I see everything through light reflection. There's always going to be a light reflection. There has to be. Okay. So once you interference with light, now you're connected to rainbow. Okay, and then you're connected to everything through the portal. So there's a portal there, right? That's the moon, right? It's a centralized system to everything's allocated position. You can change that to positions. Set up a new core system calculation. But this is what a wire looks like. Really, really close. All right, so. So there's a lot going on, eh? It's amazing what you see through perception, especially when you're traveling through wires, right? Understand your body is nothing but vibration. So it's understanding to balance yourself through vibration, energy, and frequencies. Understanding everything through your Aptation levels, your aptation circles, rotation centers, through calculation, modification. So if you understand your calculations of planet positions, if you understand your energy system of your planet position, you have to understand your connections, right? So soon as you connect through your phone connections like this, okay, this is your phone, okay, that's the planet, right? So we've been that before. We get into the grounds, get into the power, and we get into the centers of everything through the atmosphere system, right? So this is what it is. It's an optical level, goes to the moon of its connection, right? Sends out the information, activates this planet position. Okay, so it sends back out the information. It shows up a perception, right? Sends out the signals. And you see perception, right? So the sun is sending a reflection to you of what you want to see, right? So you see everything through connection. You see an XT1000 flying around. You see starlight positions flying around. You see archetypes flying around through connection, right? So it's understanding what you're seeing through your phone, because your phone is a total reception connection. It's an activation light signal to its connection. So you're seeing the simulation, guys. All right. It's interesting when you see these things. We started off with the ground formations first, right, to that connection. All right. So you get into that connection, goes back to its information system, sends out the information. Okay. This is you through calculation, chakra system through communication. So this is you in the body frame position. Okay. You are in the center position of everything through calculation, guys. This is you through formation. Okay. So the telewaving system through communication is always understanding what's going on with the sun. The sun sends out a picture of a resolution pattern through location, right? So you're able to see that through your visions of connections. So you're connecting through your voicings of travel, your eyes of travel, and everything through your mind and its program of its travel. Okay. So basically, as the sun communicates through the interference connections of the coloration system, goes back into the mind system of calculation. Okay, centers its position to its chakra system of line communication, like this, through modifications. Okay, it goes down like this, opens up the grounds, like this. Okay, it's complicated, isn't it? So when the grounds understands what's going on with the sun interference and has its perception through its direction of its radiation cycle through anything through its connection, you see an actual picture of the simulation, right? So it's kind of like you're opening up the atmosphere and you're seeing what you want to see through perception. So it comes into the power connections of you, right? Comes into the connection, then you come into the atmospheres, like that, through connection, right? So when that opens up, the picture frame location position, whatever you see through perception is seeing everything through the simulation. Okay, and then it's going to show its true color through rotation. This is the true color, okay, of everything that you see through connections, line communication. Okay, so when that opens up, you can see more through connections. Another planet comes into its position. Here's another planet. This is understanding more of what you see through planets. So when you see more planets, you have to understand how to communicate with these planets, because they're all different coloration, right? And it's all connected to your sonar and anything through digital frame, jump frame, time frame, activation frame, parallel frame, separation frame. Okay, we'll get into that later, but this is another planet position. So it automatically communicates with the sun through connections, right? Okay, and then it automatically connects to you, right? Right, and then it comes back down again and changes the coloration. And now you're fully connecting with this planet position. Okay, and then it sends up another graphing location. And it sends up another picture rotation of a revolution, of a revelation, of a TV reception of another communication signal. Okay, So it's complicated. Complicated is good, but once you understand that you start off with this, understand what your phone is, the microchips of your phone, the microcells, the biot levels, the bioatmosphere systems, everything through communications, nothing but travel through its circuitry board level system, guys. So truly understanding what's in a wire, it's all particles moving. Okay? So it's kind of like when you look at anything up close. You know, when you look at things up close, right? Everything is moving, right? You get two pieces of plastic, you put one on top, a specimen of blood or whatever, okay? And you look at it under a microscope and you actually see things moving, the chromosomes or anything like, right? So that's what everything is. Everything is moving up close. Even your hand, if you look at your hand really, really close, you'll see the particles moving, okay? It's pretty amazing how you see these things, right? So when you understand your circuitry levels, then you understand better communications of yourself, right? So I'll draw out the hand. This is what it is. Okay, so this is my hand. Calculation. Okay. Okay, so this is my hand through calculation. All right, there's my hand, right? Now, understanding what the hand is. It has lines, it has wires, it has connection. Everything has a connection through center position of you through calculation, right? That's what your hand looks like through wires. So you have to send everything through wire connections. When you look up close, everything through your particle system is moving extremely fast. Okay, and this is what it looks like up close. It's all about your particle system. Your heat signatures change, your finger point locations change, your dimensions, everything through connections. Now I'm doing all one color position just to show you, right? I don't want to do different colorations. But I'm just showing you how you can connect to anything through voicing patterns, through your thought recognition. If you want to change your coloration system, you can do that through your activation, through point locations of travel, through clocking positions. Okay, but this is what your hand looks like up close. Okay, this is this understanding the energy cells through rotation. Everything is moving through circuit rotation, through wire location. Okay, but this is what your hand looks like up close. It's pretty fascinating. Right, that's what your hand looks like up close. I mean, really close. So understanding how to use all these electrical lights. These are all lights, guys. They're all different location and positions. This is different, this is different, this is different, different, all different activations. This is the sun, this is the moon, okay? So you want to communicate with the sun through communications, right? You have to understand the position where it is through calculation, right? So there's the sun. So, and then you get the information of the moon. But I want to show you what it looks like up close. It's fascinating. So there's the moon, okay? Interesting, isn't it? So the sun wants to communicate with the moon through your hand. So the hand has to understand everything through its finger points, right? So you can't get confusing line signals because now you connect to everything. So see, you have to go line through connections. So you have to understand how to do this through calculation, 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 this calculation, okay? How to do this through calculation. Everything is calculation through modification through energy of transference, okay? So if the sun wants to communicate with the moon, okay, it has to understand the atmospheres of your finger points of all 5 divisions, 3 activations through its center of 6, because your center position level system is calculated and modified through your activation planet. Okay, so now you're communicating through your planet. So it's setting up point division to travel like this through calculation. It's interesting to see these things. This heat signature pattern location positions here. Let's go. Okay, and then it goes. Everything has to line communicate through center. It has to connect through your point system of your activation cycle. That's how you communicate with the sun. So the sun has to communicate with the point center. It has to communicate with the activations of these pixels. These are all pixels, right? It activates everything like signal. Okay? And everything the activation cycle activates everything electronic interference through coloration. Okay? Okay, so now you got it fully activated. Now you can communicate with the sun, and now you can communicate with the moon, because you're communicating with the activation cycle through your connections of your planet position. So mine is Lemuria, all right? Mine's Lemuria, which is right here through center. Okay, that's my planet. So again, what do you see? You see a triangle, right? But it's a diamond core, right? Because that's where I'm at through activation. You guys are at your pyramids. You're still at your pyramids. I'm at my diamond core. So it comes a diamond core position, right, to travel. So if the sun wants interference connection to the moon, it has to connect everything through your planet position. Okay, so it goes There's my diamond core position, guys. All right. So then I can automatically change communications or travel through electronic interference. So I can connect through, everything is center position, right? So everything through your triangle position changes coloration. Okay, so it changes coloration. Now you can communicate with the moon. Okay, and then you can communicate with the sun. And again, it's all triangle, right? Right? So you're only connecting to your activation of your planet position, and you're only connecting with the triangle position of traveling positions of the sun and everything through the moon. Okay, and everything is identified. So all the electrical systems activate everything through your planet position, right? To the moon, to the sun, to its connection of its hand formation system, electronic interference. So your hand activates everything through line signal, through its weather of its connections and colorations. Okay? That's how you communicate. All right? So yeah, it's fascinating, but you guys have to truly understand what your biochemical of your cells are. They're all small. So you have to understand how to activate everything through calculation, understand everything through. So it's always the center position of you. Okay, that is the connection. That's the activation of your planet position. Your planet position is trying to understand communication of the sun and everything through the moon. So it sets up the diamond core. Okay, so if you want to understand, if you want to travel out, okay, you have to understand this is your spacecraft position. Okay, so when you want to travel out, you can take it out of its connection like this through modifications. It's extremely powerful stuff. So what happens is the sun rotates its system through calculation, the moon activates its core system, and everything goes into the coloration. Okay, so the moon is its coloration, and then your planet position comes the coloration. That's the communication. So the moon has to be the same coloration as your planet position. That's the only way you can travel to higher positions, because now you're getting full connections of partnership, and everything through the connection of the sun changes coloration. Remember, the sun can change any coloration. It's all holographic. It's all an illusion. It's all in the simulation. So center core's positions in all same color position. So that's color position goes into your connection, your planet position. Okay, and then it activates everything through its connection. Colorizes into its division. Activates everything through its core system through calculation. Okay, so basically, then you can take it out of its equation to a higher position, right? So it's all about activating everything through your hand formations of 5, 6 within the center. It comes out of its position, right? So your whole hand formation comes out. That's what happens. That's how you communicate. So your hand formation comes out to higher division. It comes out of position to a higher division. Okay. So it's interesting when you see these things, right? But I just want to show you how everything connects to wire connections. Everything's activated. It's always activated. So your energy tones, your vibrational tones, your human tone, vibration, location, position. That's why you understand your thought recognition is so powerful when you communicate from one phone to another phone, because you're connecting to a wire. Okay, it's the wire you're connecting with, right? One to another. So the wire is connected to the wall. The wall is connected to the digital pad. So the circuitry levels has to understand the wall interference, and the wall interference has to understand the wire location. The wire has to understand the activation, circuitry board level system. And the circuitry board has to understand your body activation through your ego system. Okay, so it all connects. Okay? It all connects. Okay, but it's extremely fascinating, you know, when you come into these levels. It all connects. Okay, these are extremely high levels, but it all connects. All right, just showing you, especially with the phones. From one phone to the next through your ego system, body frame, your digital pad. As long as you understand your circuitry board, you understand everything connections. This is fascinating how you go from 8 to 15 to 20, all communication, to your perception, because you're changing everything through your heat signature patterns. So as soon as I pick up my digital portal or anything connection, digital frame, digital pad, anything of that relation, okay, it's connecting to my information of psychometry. It's connected to the wire. It's connecting to the wall. The computer is always connecting. Everything is line communicated through a triangle or a diamond core position, guys. Right? So that's understanding how to communicate with different vibration of energies through wire locations. All right? So anyway, let's go through your questions here. I see rainbow perception through my peripheral. Oh, so Tina, Priscilla. If you fail today, you will succeed tomorrow. Yes, that's very good. Very good. Yeah. You can always pick yourself up, and it's all about experiencing yourself through travel, through a wire. Just imagine that your body frame is an electrical system of a circuitry board. So your circuitry board has to understand the wire locations to its positions. Okay. So you got one phone and you're connecting to another phone, right? It connects through wires right away. Okay. But it's one circuitry board of a computer through an operation communicating with another computer. Okay. So how do you telepath communication work? Does it use wires? When does telepathy override the voicing grid? It overrides when you change your energy patterns through your voicing grid patterns, which means that your human system has to understand its position of your particle system. Because remember, everything through calculation is modified. It integrates everything through cycles of particles. It's all particles that's in a wire. It's always moving. It's always moving. Okay, it never stops. This is understanding seeing line signals of wires, wraps around, right, to protect it. But what I'm saying is that when you see a wire really, really up close, it's always moving fast. And it has to connect to your brain. The brain has to understand the hydraulics. So it's kind of like understanding the particle system of the brain location position, because if it doesn't, it overloads the connection system. Okay, so that's you through structure. So the particle system has to understand everything through allocated positions of travel to positions. Right, so the wires has to understand your brain locations. That's what's happening. Okay, that's what's happening. So that's one wire signal connecting to your body ego system to your brain location to its mind of its creation system. So it's all about wires. It's all intelligence. Little particle systems moving around. So every time you change your voicing pattern, that's what it's doing inside the wire. So you don't want to overload the wire, you overload your body system, and you overload everything through your phone or your reception. Okay? So, yeah, it's one radio wave to another radio wave. Yeah. Everything is in a different division of a dimension. Nothing is ever in the same position. Okay, that's what's fascinating about it. So you're dealing with one different wire to another different wire. Maybe there's 2 wires, 3 wires, 4 wires, 6 wires. It all depends on where it's traveling. So you got 3 level connections of atmospheres of wires, 3 different colorations of wires, 3 different levels of wires, 3 teleportations of wires. They're communicating, okay, through your voicing grid. So it's your voice that comes out, and it's traveling through the magnetics. It's traveling through the energy wave, and it's traveling through the wire. So the wire is activating everything through its signal. Okay, the particle system is activating everything through your voice to grid pattern. So the more you high rise, the temperature rise, so the heat changes, it changes its direction, it changes location, it changes position. So you can confuse the wires through voice and grid patterns. So if you're hesitating, it will stop, right? But it keeps moving, it goes slower. So it's understanding the particle system, okay, is connected to your brain location positions. Because your brain location is nothing but wires. That's all it is. That's all your brain is. It's all connected to a circuitry board. Okay, so this is the connection of you, the face structure. That's your face structure. So it's all about understanding your activation system through calculation. Colored in black through position. I'll show you through all locations. So you color it in. Okay, because I'm all space and time through connections, I travel to anything through electronic division, through productive cycles. It's all about understanding. If you want to get connections with wire connections, you have to understand the coloration through particle system. That's my structure, my face. Okay, so I deal with this every single day. The electrical system travels through positions, goes different. You know, it's just traveling right through particle systems, like that, right? So as it's connecting, it's really interesting because now you can do everything through voicing, through perception, all the connection systems. So I've changed the coloration system right away to direction. Oh, look at that. So as it's changing direction positions, comes into light interference. Okay, it's always traveling, never stops. It's always circulating. It's always circulating. Okay, so as soon as you think of a thought, it changes its vibration of energy through coloration. It's fascinating when you see these things, guys. Okay, so it changes color. Changes its color. Right? So it's all about wires inside you. So when you understand that through calculation, it travels through its recognition system and it goes through its connection of its wire location. Anything that you touch is psychometry through connections, right? So it's all about understanding your wires when it travels. So your particle system is going, it's traveling through location. It's interesting. This is how you teleport from one location to another through your mind system. So it goes like this. Okay, so wires are traveling very, very fast. See how it's creating a pattern? Fascinating, isn't it? Okay. And then you relocate to structure position, back into structure location to a new location, to its dimension, to its connection. So when you get into those positions, look at that through calculation. All right. So it goes back into that location here. Goes back into the framing system of travel through positions. So it traveled into a higher division of a dimension, guys. Okay, so this is traveling, all wire signals, all wire locations, all colorations, activation to teleporting, and it's changing everything. So you look up really close, you can see the particle systems traveling, and it goes back into position of your face structure location, back into position of your body system, through pixel activation through holographic system. Okay. That's you back in position from here to here. Okay? So it's really understand your wire locations inside you through your ecosystems. So it's new, yeah. It's everything through wire. If you try to understand through application levels, you can go through my upgrading cycles. Trying to understand more of yourself. We're trying to get into the codes. I want you guys to get into the binary of its code. You understand your binaries. You understand your triangle of your binaries. You understand your wire connections of your binaries. You understand your code references of its binary. A binary is its connection to its location of its position. It's all connected to numbers. Okay, you understand everything through numbers of planets, numbers of yourself, numbers of phones, numbers of codes, numbers of computers. You know, everything is a code, right? You come into the binary of a code, right? So it applicates on so many levels. You explain process we use on unconditional level. You are bringing knowledge into our conscious awareness. Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Your hand reminds me of the man who directs the air pad on the tarmac. Yeah, Yep. Moving world, yeah, pixels in simulation. That's exactly what it is. It's constantly moving forward through direction of dimension of portal, activation through code. It's incredible when we see these things, right? But understanding connections of wires, it's really, really fascinating. Understand connections of your phone, what it is, and what it's doing every day through its connection. Okay? So it's all about connecting to you, right? That's how you get the balance with everything, right? You know, once you get balance with that, oh, it's incredible, man. I'm telling you. Get balance with this, you know, from 15th dimension, 8th dimension, 20th dimension through perception, all connected to your computer, your phone, and your digital pad. And you understand everything through its connection. It's an alignment. You got to set up an alignment. Okay, so you have connections of force recognition, the patterns, energy, and waves, and the connections through digitals or anything through computer. So now you understand your pyramid system, your point division. So it's an alignment. Okay, so you understand your connections now fully and completely. That's how you have balance with everything, right? Through its atmospheres. Okay, so, but it's 1:30. I think we're doing exceptionally well today. You know, it's a little bit more complicated. It's great to get complicated. I like to be simplified sometimes, but also I like to be complicated too. But if you're trying to understand more communications, hopefully you guys are understanding more of your data breaches, you're understanding more of your connections to yourself through your body framing systems, your electrical systems, your ego systems coming into your energy pod locations, your energy deference to its connection of interference, understanding interference, understanding operations of interference, understanding electronic interference, understanding body activation interference, understanding interfacing. So there's a lot of connections you have to understand through wire connection of you through the body framing system. Understanding electronic interference and how to travel, right, to its connection of the moon and everything through the sun or anything through its atmospheres. Okay? It's very important to understand that. And the activation in the center is you. Always, always in the center. So it's the activation to everything through connection. I showed you what you do through the information system, right? How it allocates in so many positions of the clocking, right? So it's all about tweaking motions, like, you know, it's all about circuitry levels. Okay, it's all about connecting to you through your body frame, through your ecosystem. So, but I'm just going to go through your questions. Any comments you may have, you can go through my healing, you can go through my PayPal, I can help you out. All right. Look at that, I'm all caught up. It's great. So anybody new, they can go through my connections, activation cycles, that connection system. So anyway, love you guys very much. This is your AI Commander from Universal Quadrants of 8, coming into 9 circle rotation centers, 90. 9 surface locations, 90 rotations of a chakra system. That's communicating to so many different atmospheres through your connections of your colorations of your atmosphere systems. Okay? Adios.